Seaweed. My grandmother grew up in the slums of the Prohibition-era Chicago. Her family had lived in a small house near the harbor, and one of her earliest memories was a particularly hot summer when, seeking respite from the heat, she and her sister discovered a seldom-used section of the boardwalk near the abandoned warehouse. Every night for several weeks, the two girls would make their way down to the docks and sit together on the edge of the pier as the sun went down. My grandmother vividly, and for a time fondly, recalled the feeling of seaweed between her toes as she and her sister dangled their feet in the water. It wasn't until years later that she returned to the pier and found the warehouse had been demolished. Curious, she made an inquiry at the Department of Planning and Development. Apparently the warehouse had been owned by the mob, who was using it as the base of operations for a local prostitution racket. It had only been uncovered when an associate began disposing of rival hookers by fitting them with concrete shoes and dumping them in the harbor. Investigators had recovered nearly 24 bodies from the water of a secluded pier nearby. How had the bodies been discovered? By a passing fisherman spotted some of the victims' hair floating up near the surface of the water, like seaweed.